Steven Coreno, KOR, the sports are here. The great Eddie Hearn, good to see you, brother. Man, you got another great one.
Yeah.
Another great one of the flyweights. I feel like Bam's just been taking out the four kings this whole time. Even got a taste of maybe, the most popular one in the sparring, right, with Chocolatito. But looking at the Gallo fight, Bam has said that Gallo has kind of discredited some of those wins against Quadras, against Rungvisai, and it seemed to kind of piss him off a little bit.
I think that Estrada kind of feels like he's been a bit disrespected as well. Like everyone's just presuming that Bam's going to go through him, and it's a tremendous fight. I think Estrada's a steely competitor, and Bam's on a great run. He's only 24, you got 2 pound-for-pound stars fighting, you got 2 multi-weight world champions, 2 unified world champions, just a brilliant fight, and we've seen that. The feedback that we've had from the boxing world, this is one they're really looking forward to, and it can only be a fight of the year contender.
I was just going to say, I feel like it's going into it. Looks like a fight of the year going.
I don't see how it can be anything else. I mean, I think Bam is the favourite because of his form. But there is the argument, a lot of people say, well, Quadras was very old at the end of his career. Rungvisai was at the end of his career. Sonny Edwards definitely wasn't. That was a great performance. But if you want to give yourself some confidence, I guess you could spin that narrative. So I don't expect Gallo to be an easy opponent at all, and I expect him to give everything.
It's a world-class fight, man, definitely. Man, just another world-class fight, AJ versus Daniel Dubois. We all saw the clip of what happened after. I don't know, maybe it's an English thing. I didn't see it as disrespectful as what Daniel Dubois said. Were you, after he said it, were you kind of like, oh?
No, because when you say, let's go now, to a fighter, I've never really... I see AJ, when he flicks the switch, which is normally in the change rooms before the fight, this has happened a couple of times. It's when someone says, he's very respectful, AJ, but when you say to him, let's fight now. What people don't understand is, AJ is a bad motherfucker, right? And if you, at that point, when you say that, you're asking to fight him now. Do you know what I mean? So, you ask to fight me, fucking fight, let's fucking go. That's him, right? So people don't, because he's so corporate and well-spoken, all that kind of stuff, but he's from the fucking street, you know what I mean? He's like, and that just comes back out with him when someone asks him to do battle. So it was actually, it wasn't, Daniel didn't say anything terrible, but there was actually no need to say it. It was quite a good head-to-head, and just out of nowhere he went, well, we'll fight now, come on, swing for me. It's like, okay, yeah. And when they stood up, it was like, fuck, they're giants, so. But I liked it because it showed, it's good to show your edge now and again. You can't really win, because sometimes if you don't, people go, oh, you're boring. You don't do it, and all of a sudden he does that, and he go, wow, that was out of character, what's he done now? But it's just, that's him. He's respectful, he's an ambassador for the sport, but he's a bad motherfucker. And that's the reality.
Does, obviously, for English fans, the Tyson Fury AJ fight would be incredible, especially for all the belts. If Tyson were to win, does that make you maybe a little more rooting for Tyson in the Usyk rematch for that reason?
I really like Usyk. I represented him for 4 fights or something like that. He's a gentleman. I wanted Tyson to win the first fight because first things first, he's British. And of course that fight has so much potential against AJ. So all we've got to do is do our job on September 21st. The Fury fight, win or lose against Usyk, is still there. But obviously if he wins, and AJ wins, that fight for the undisputed is absolutely massive. So part of me believes that's going to happen, but AJ's got a tough task, Fury's got a very tough task. We'll see what happens on the 21st, respectively, of each month.
Looking at the lighter weight class, literally the lightweight, you've been talking about Shakur recently. Obviously, we all know this is his last fight with Top Rank. Bob Arum said that he talked to you when you weren't really interested, but the next interview I see with you, you were like, yeah, I'm super interested.
I didn't say I wasn't interested. What I said was, it was slightly tongue-in-cheek, but Bob's paying him a lot of money. And I said to Bob, well, I'm not paying him as much money as you pay him. And he sort of kindly said that in an interview after, but it's a little bit of mind games there, but the reality is it has to work for us as a business. The problem with Top Rank, which I've said before, is they gave up on Shakur a long time ago because basically he said he was leaving. Do you know what I mean? And Bob's the kind of guy, once you say that, you're dead to him, So what's happening now is they're not promoting him properly and they're paying him a lot of money, right? So you don't promote him properly, he don't do good numbers. Then the money you're paying him is not worth it. Do you know what I mean? It's like Boots, right? I'm paying Boots a lot of money, but we're going to sell 15,000 tickets, right? because we promoted him properly. So all of a sudden he is worth the money. Now if we didn't bother, if we gave up, if we weren't good at our job, he'd do 5,000 and then we'd be losing a lot of money. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a double-edged sword. If Shakur becomes available, we'd love to talk to him. I think he's a pound for pound tremendous fighter, and we'll see what happens.
The Paro fight would be kind of interesting for him. They have some sparring history.
You know, he would also go up to 140. Could be another division for him to win a world championship. I think he's fine at 135. You know, I think the fight between Shakur and Tank is the fight to make. I think it's a tremendous fight, but we'll see what happens.
Another lightweight, Devin Haney, seemed a little bothered that you didn't, purse bid, but like you said, DHP didn't, you know what I mean? You asked his own, they weren't interested.
I don't know why I've got a bid. You know, we don't have a contract with him. He wants to be a free agent, and duck between promoters, which is fine. I love Devin, I love working with him. But if you haven't got that allegiance or that loyalty to someone, why should we put our balls and money on the line, especially to lose a lot of money in a fight like that? And that's the benefit of having a long-term promotional deal, is that you have a promoter that will support you through the ups and downs. When you're flying and you're a free agent, it's quite a good spot to be. But then all of a sudden, when things change, when the tide goes out, one of my favourite sayings, when the tide goes out, you get to see who's swimming naked, right? And that's very true. When it starts to get a little bit choppy seas, you start to see the reality of the situation. Devin Haney has his own promotional companies, as a lot of these fighters do. They're all shell companies. They mean absolutely nothing. They have no substance and no desire to gamble money or risk money or spend money or back themselves. Do you know what I mean? Because if that was a good opportunity and that was a good fight, he would have bid. He could have made money on it. But of course, he knows the reality of the situation. It ain't a good fight. And, we spoke to DAZN and they were like, not for us. What do you want to do? He vacated anyway. And look, I'm interested to make the Liam Paro fight with Devin Haney.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Do you believe Devin has a point when he says that, talking about suing Ryan because he lost market value because of the loss and all that?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of things. Firstly, if Ryan knowingly cheated, if he took those supplements to have a physical advantage, to do physical damage to Devin Haney, that's one thing to consider. I do think that Devin is correct in the fact that obviously if he won that fight, he would be worth X in his next fight, but because of what happened in that fight, he's worth X. So the reason he's worth X is because Ryan beat him, and the reason potentially that Ryan beat him is because he had performance enhancing drugs in his system. You can't, and like the response is quite wild about this. Sometimes I read the comments on Ryan saying, Ryan, you've been done dirty here. It's like, what the fuck? There's only one person who's been done dirty here, and that's Devin Haney. I mean, and there's people going to stop moaning, Devin. It's like, what? The world's gone mad. So, look, he got the year ban. Devin's going to look at his legal options, I guess. I don't know. You'll never know the truth because they kind of admitted guilt and did the deal. But the reality is if Ryan Garcia deliberately cheated, he should never fight again. If he was unlucky, he's got the year ban. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully it was the latter, But if anybody intentionally cheats, they should be banned for life.
My last ones, man. One of your buddies in boxing, Leonard Ellerby, had cut some drama that fight week. It's Leonard or Floyd's, saying that he's left the company and saying that the fight is canceled. All that. What was your thoughts on that? Would you have any messages to Leonard?
No, I wish him the best in retirement. I think he's had a great run in boxing. We've had our ups and downs, but I don't know how old he is. But boxing's a very dramatic and stressful world, and I think he'll enjoy his time away from everything. I see him a lot on Twitter, like arguing all the time and like liking tweets of negativity towards people. It's like, mate, I don't know how old he is, 60? I don't know, 60, whatever. It's like, there's more to life, mate. Do you know what I mean? I kick myself when I do it, and I'm 45, so yeah. I
surprised on how that whole thing happened, like during the fight week. I
don't really know. I mean, there's obviously a lot more to it, but I don't know anything about it. But I wish everybody the best. Leonard's had a great run in the sport, and I wish him all the best in retirement.
All the best tomorrow, sir. Cheers, mate. Appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.